following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts,
Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
On a Monday. Sorry we're a little bit late today. 100% my fault. I'm Newy Scruggs. It's Players Lounge. That is Barry Church.
Yes, sir.
Number 42, the Toledo Rocket. Our other running buddy, Danny McCray, has got the day off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, look, we don't need to sit around, fake it, and let's just get to the point.
We'll go straight to it then.
Kelvin Joseph.
Man.
Kelvin Joseph. Come on, man.
You got to be more careful.
Baby, come on. This is your livelihood.
This is not, you ain't in, high school, middle school. You ain't on scholarship no more. This is your livelihood we talking about. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Kelvin Joseph was, involved in he wasn't involved. He was just in the same car, right? The same vehicle.
He was a part of a group that was involved in a drive-by shooting. The man was killed.
And the man was killed.
In Dallas.
And it happened over a month ago.
It happened last month, like March 18th. It happened a month ago.
And that's
He's a passenger. His agent's like, hey, he didn't shoot anybody.
He didn't pull the trigger.
He was just a passenger. Okay. You're still a part of it.
You still there, and especially you don't say nothing to the cops.
Hey, man.
I don't know if he told Dallas the organization or anything, but you got to. You seen the movie Boys in the Hood, right?
Yeah.
You seen more. We all seen Boys in the Hood, classic Ice Cube film. Towards the end of the film, Ice Cube and his crew, they're in a car getting ready to do a drive-by shooting on a rival gang. Mark Cuban Gooding Jr. is in the car.
They're going to pay it. They're going to pay back the guys who killed Cube's brother, Ricky.
Yep, Ricky.
Okay.
So Cuban Gooding, he's in the car. He sees what's about to happen. So he goes, you know what? The guy, Ice Cube's character, was named Doe.
Doe,
let me out.
Doe, stop the car.
Let me out.
Doe, stop the car.
Let me out, Doe.
Let me out, Doe.
And it was it.
And Doughboy, he understood.
He's like, hey, man, he got stuff to do. Yeah.
This not you.
This ain't your lifestyle.
You're not about this life. This isn't you.
Let him go. Go ahead, big dog. You out.
So now, I'll say this without understanding and knowing the facts. We can bring up a movie, but we don't know.
Yeah, this is true.
If he understood that somebody was going to come out the car,
this is true.
Straight blasting. So you literally could have just been driving and hey, what in the world?
What are you doing? But at that time. After it all went down, let's just say, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He knew nothing of what was going on and just turned to his right and saw somebody blasting. Let's just say, at that point, you got to get the hell up out of there. You got to be like, man, look, I'm out. You got to.
And ultimately, I think of it this way. You're running with guys who don't care enough about your livelihood and your life that they're doing something like this that can get you in trouble. You the meal ticket.
That's it. What the other dudes got to lose? You are a second-round draft choice going into one of your most important seasons of your life. The most important season. You got an opportunity to battle for a starting job. And you could be that corner, that bookend corner next to Trayvon Diggs. Y'all could have this whole thing going on. But now that's all in jeopardy right now. Decisions we make, man. If you're in that type of limelight, you've got to be smarter in that situation. I mean, I understand boys, loyalty, all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, this is a livelihood. This is not. I mean, it's a blessing. It's not like this is guaranteed that you're gonna be able to play in the NFL and do all this stuff. But for you to put yourself in that type of situation, man, it's concerning. It's concerning.
I think about Rolando McClain. When he was here with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys brought him in from the Raiders as kind of a reclamation project, and he started off here great.
Yeah.
Rolando McClain is a fantastic football player.
Unbelievable.
And a very smart football player.
Yes, he is. One of the smartest I've been around.
But he simply would go home to Alabama, and the trouble would find him, or it would happen all over again. And at some point, you got to stop going home to Alabama, or at least understanding that some of the people, that there are people around you who don't have your best interest in heart. And you like the Godfather in that scene. I try to get out there. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. And it was some of the undoing of his career.
Oh, without a doubt.
It was never based on the fact that he could not play.
No, he was one of the most gifted athletes on the football field. Like you said, one of the smartest defensive minds that I've ever played around. I mean, he was up there with Sean Lee as far as understanding what offenses are trying to attack him and all this other stuff. I mean, that guy was phenomenal on the football field. But just as good as he was on the football field, I mean, he had his demons and he had his things off the field. And like you said, when he would go back to Alabama, these things would rear their ugly head, and it ended up being the undoing. I mean, so I mean,
it cost him. It easily cost this young man 8-9 years off his football career because with his type of knowledge that he had and ability, he could have played.
Could have been a Bobby Wagner type, just as smart as all heck. Even though he might have lost a step, he would still be able to play at a high level because his IQ was off the charts.
Correct. I mean, he was and just to understand how good he was, I mean, this was a guy who was a significant player for Nick Saban.
Yeah.
At Alabama,
top 5 pick? Was he top 5?
He was definitely a top 15. I know that for sure. But he was but he was an impactful player.
Yeah, he was.
He was an impactful football player. But I see this with Kelvin Joseph, and we don't know what's going to happen next within this legal system and what goes down and what he has not been charged.
No.
2 other people that he was with in the car have been charged with murder.
Yeah.
He's not been charged. We'll see exactly what happens to him. And let's say nothing happens. Let's say he's not charged at all.
Okay.
The NFL can still
hit you with a suspension,
personal conduct policy.
Yeah, this is true.
They can do something as well. But you come back into this position of, man, here's another 2nd-round draft pick, and he had question marks coming in.
Yeah. Everybody kind of questions his seriousness. We know, did he want to be a rapper? Did he want to be a football player? I mean,
you were told
there was questions.
LSU wanted you gone.
Yeah.
LSU's had some characters and some folks happen some stuff. So when LSU said, man, you too hot for us, man. It raised a question.
It did.
And at Kentucky, there was some people that said, "Hey, look, man." At Kentucky, they were like, "Hey, man, this needs to be your last game. We all need to. You need to go on.
You need to go to the league."
So those things were out there about Kelvin Joseph. I'll say this: the guy played good football. I talked to someone, here with the organization. They're like, "Hey, man, he was playing some good football at the end. Once he got healthy and he started to understand things, he was playing good football at the end." So we do know that if you can play football,
a lot of things can be erased.
The Cowboys will make an exception.
Yes, that's league round. If you can ball.
So I asked this question right now, sitting here. I mean, on April 18th, if given the second opportunity to play again, is Kelvin Joseph ready to go take advantage of the opportunity, or are you going to end up in a situation where we saw Rolando McClain? That's real. That's you. You're at the fork in the road.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to go.
Either you go that Rolando McClain route where the folks that you've been around and you run with, man, take you down that path, or do you fix yourself and take advantage of this amazing opportunity that you have to play for the Dallas Cowboys in a premier spot where they will pay you, man.
Yeah.
You're not playing nose tackle where you're going to get limited. You're a corner.
You're going to be on the field.
They will pay you in this league.
Yes.
There's not many positions right now. Barry, you play safety.
Oh, yeah.
There was a premium, was a ceiling on what they pay safety. But
corners, you arguably, the third highest. Quarterback, rushman,
pass rusher, receiver, corner. These are the 4.
Yeah,
these are the
4 premier positions in this league, and he's one of them.
You're right. I mean, and the opportunity is here for you.
Yeah, it is.
And look, man, it's interesting. Our producer Chris Beam says Rolando McClain 8th overall.
8th overall. I thought he was top 10.
I thought he was 2010, and just. And as a linebacker, that's very significant. You don't see linebackers go that high, but that's how talented the young man was. And that's the thing, man. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that I know Kelvin Jones. I don't know him. Talked to him just briefly in the little, when he's been made available here. I think I only chatted with him once last year. It was good chat. I mean, he's a good guy to talk to. I just look at this. I just like, man, dude, if you get an opportunity, man, get yourself together because you have an opportunity.
Huge opportunity to be a part of something that if this defense keeps going in the right direction, like we've seen last year, if they're able to build off of that, I mean, you got an opportunity to be a part of something special. And like you said, there's 2 ways to go here. You can learn from your lessons, kind of get yourself away from those guys that, kind of have you in trouble or have you in situations that you don't need to be in. You can get yourself away from that, focus strictly on football and being the best Cowboys player you can be. Or there's that other, way to go that where it's, all right, they let me off the hook. So, I can get away with stuff out here. I can do this and that and the third. And you keep being in that street life and keep being in that type of atmosphere, and your career will not last for long. If you go down that route, it will not last for long. We've never seen something like that happen and a guy bounce back. I'm like, oh man, this is nothing. Third or fourth strike. No, it's not going to happen that way. All right, you got to focus on football and being the best player you can be on the field and off, man.
I really wish there could be a conversation between Kelvin Joseph and Deion Sanders. Deion spoke once about how when people say, "Hey man, you changed, you made this money, you changed," and he's like, "You have to change.
You got to.
And if you don't change, you will not have this money. You will not be able to take advantage of this opportunity that you must change.
You'll be in trouble or you're going to be broke."
And hopefully someone can talk to him, because I believe that it takes third-party validation is real.
Yeah.
Sometimes if your parents say it, you may not listen, or someone close to, but it's a third party, somebody somewhere else, somebody who has an understanding of what you've gone through and they've done it at a high level. Maybe that's the way you get through, because the talent is there.
Yeah, he's a player.
But the decision-making has to be better.
A lot better. Like, as a corner, he has a great mindset, because he just reminds me of somebody that is a dog, that goes out there on the field, does his responsibilities, and, he has a short-term memory. So he has the makeup to be a good corner in this league. It's just, like you said, the decision-making skills have got to get better. Like, how do you go a month without saying nothing?
So I want to ask this question, and think about it. We'll take a break with him. Are we being too judgy? As we talk about this, are we being too judgy about Cowboys corner Kelvin Joseph? Let's talk about that next on the flip side right here on the Players Lounge. This is DallasCowboysRadio.com.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com. Barry Church, Newey Scruggs, our running buddy Danny McCray has the day off. Head to the Star in Frisco for the 2022 Cowboys Draft presented by Miller Lite. The party starts on Thursday, April 28th. Enjoy live draft coverage and entertainment starting at 6 p.m. Friday the 29th is draft night, one featuring a free youth camp and specialty draft weekend menus. On Saturday morning, it's a run or walk on the draft day 5K presented by Baylor Scott White Health. And stick around for drink specials, live music, and more during the Star Draft Fest. That is easily accessible for more information for you by going to DallasCowboys.com/draft. That's DallasCowboys.com/draft.
Cowboys know how to throw a party, man.
Yes.
They know how to throw a party. I'll tell you that much.
Back to Kelvin Joseph. This is from the Dallas Morning News and columnist Jean-Jacques Taylor. This was just posted on April 28th. And I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs. The Cowboys should get rid of cornerback Kelvin Joseph before the end of the business day. You shouldn't want a player on your team who was reportedly a passenger in a drive-by shooting that left a man dead and refused to tell the police about it. The Cowboys advised him to contact police, and he declined until he was identified in the video and became a person of interest in the case. Yes, this is, and then he wrote, shameful. Yes, this is the same organization that signed the infamous defensive end Greg Hardy in 2015 after he spent 15 games on the commissioner's exempt list, but character must mean something. That's why they should cut Joseph.
See, I didn't know that part. I didn't know the organization went to him and was like, "Yeah, you need to go to the police and talk about this." And he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm straight." Until he was named as being a part of this whole situation. What? If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm like, you don't want to. All right, well, do you get your bags and get the heck up out of here? This ain't a suggestion. You better go talk to these police. And he said no. Come on, man. This ain't Dion's. I didn't know that whole situation. I'd have been like, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm like, all right, man, you don't want to go talk to these police? Pack your bags and get going. Like, this is.
So you know how they identified him in the video, right?
The chain he had on the iced out. You want to be, what is it called?
His customized chain.
If you know the vibes, that's what it was an acronym for. If you know the vibes. Or you know the vibes. That's what it was. You know the vibes. Yeah. What?
Because there's a lot of. And Danny McCray, I miss Danny, but Danny always would say, there's a difference between a mistake and a bad decision.
Exactly.
There's some bad decision. There's
multiple
bad decision making. And yeah, so when I asked the question before the break, are we being too judgy?
Hell no. What you mean? The organization went to you. The organization you work for, that you're trying to get a foothold in and try to be a starter in this organization, went to you and said, look, you need to go talk to these police. And you said, I'm good. What sense does that make, dude? Like, there's so much to lose in this situation. Yeah. You're battling for a starting cornerback position.
You're battling for your life.
For your life.
Forget the football part. The first part is your life. You're involved. You were an accessory to a murder.
They got you on tape. Like, I don't know if you ever seen the meme, but they got you in 4K on tape. Your chain. You're the only one with the you know the vibes chain on, iced out. What are you thinking? And now that they got me, all right, I'm gonna go in there and say what I got to say now. Nah, man, you should have said something. That don't make sense to me.
Well, so someone explained the seriousness to it. Man, This is really what it is. When he finally decided to talk, it's like, okay, you know what? These are things. This is what I had a contact tell me. Either he goes in there and tells the police what he knows and identifies who did it, or somebody in that group can identify and say he did it.
And he did. And then he said, she said.
Then you could end up in some serious trouble.
Man.
So they were like, you better go talk and sing. And then the next day. So he talks the next day. 2 people are arrested. So, yeah, the decision-making is shocking. And that's why Jacques Taylor's writing this column saying, hey, man, you don't need this. If you can't figure out simple things in life, like, hey, man, then do you want him on your football team? But I go back into what I just said before, man. You know, when you talk, this is... The Cowboys are kind of like last chance you. They really are. Pac-Man Jones, Greg Hardy, man. Alonzo Spellman. I mean, you go through the years, man.
They got some cats on there. They got some guys on the list.
Randy Gregory had all his issues. They're talking about Randy Gregory going 8th overall on the draft. Everybody passes him, but last chance you got you here.
Hey, we gonna bring him in.
And look, when you start thinking about there's not many more stops in the desert past the Cowboys.
No.
Maybe the Bengals, but that's about it.
You might get away with the bet. You might.
But Pac-Man Jones went after this. So Dallas and the Bengals about to lay. So Kelvin Jones, if it doesn't work here, it may not really work too many other places. You might have to be up in the USFL, XFL, or something. But the decision making is interesting, and that's why I say that this young man and his agent are really going to have to get a hold of Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, and Dan Quinn. They're really going to. Yes. How do you fix this, but at the same time bring back some trust? Because you're talking about a roster spot.
Yeah, he was battling for one of the positions.
Right. But just in terms of if we have him on our roster, is he suspended? What's going on? Does he get, there's a lot of question marks here.
Because the league gonna have to do something with it.
Said there's just question. There's a lot. There's a lot that they don't know.
They don't. And if I'm Kelvin, I'm like, hold on, man. Like the whole snitching and all that other stuff. These guys that you are with, they didn't have your best interests at heart when they start blasting out the car when you're in the car. So I'm singing like a canary.
So with these kind of question marks and what Jock Taylor's talking about in terms of cutting the players, how much of this is worth it? It is one thing when you have proven yourself and your worth to the team.
Yes.
So we'll take a little of this because, that guy can go do this.
Well, we got six games of tape on this guy. Like,
he's not Deion. He doesn't have Deion talent. He doesn't have Diggs talent. So when you talk about, hey, do we want to roll the dice and keep continuing this relationship, you got to start to ask yourself the questions, is it worth it? So the Cowboys as an organization have a decision that they've got. Kelvin Joseph as a person has a decision about how he wants to continue to live his life and take advantage of the opportunity. And Barry, I will say this, and you get it because you walked in the shoes. We look at these guys as though they are grown folks with life experiences, like there's some 30-year-old man. That's
very true. He's a young man.
A young man who you've given a lot of money to, and a young man who still has some loyalties and still wants to continue to have some of the look. Sometimes you're asking people to grow up who aren't really ready to grow up.
Yeah. And that looks like
this is a part of it.
Yeah.
This is a part of it. Now, I gave you that portion of it. The other portion you have to weigh if you're the Cowboys, Barry. Is it worth it?
Is it as an organization? Because you're like, if the guy can't make a decision to benefit his own life and benefit his own well-being, is he really going to make those good decisions for our team as a whole? Like, I mean, if you're making those decisions, and they came to you to tell you to go do this, make this right decision.
Go do something right.
Go do something right and do this right decision. Do the right thing, and you chose not to. So that's a second. I mean, how many more bad decisions are this guy's gonna have to go through before he gets it? And as an organization, do you really want to sit around and wait for that to happen?
So Jacques later on writes, he says, if Joseph was a great player, the Cowboys could overlook his character flaws, and we'd understand why. We wouldn't necessarily like it, but we understand. But Joseph isn't a great player. He's not even a good player. He's average, if best. The Cowboys drafted him in 2021 to be one of their top 3 cornerbacks, but he never came close to beating out Anthony Brown. He played only 164 snaps in 10 games last season. He started 2 of the last 3 games, but will enter training camp as the 4th cornerback. Talk to enough people at the Star, the Cowboys training camp complex, they'll tell you that Joseph has been immature and unreliable since he joined the Cowboys, and that was before his latest incident. Still, he had done nothing to put his roster spot this season in jeopardy. Now he has.
And then I go back to what I said. Like, if this guy's, it seems like just multiple bad decisions on bad decisions on bad decisions. Do you really want to sit around and wait for this guy to finally get it? I mean, do you still put him above a Noshawn Wright, who's really not, done anything bad and kind of has kept it straight and forward and focused on football? Does he, just because he has more talent, does that put him above? I mean, it's decisions that this Cowboys organization is going to have to make.
Look, man, I go back into this, and you understand this very well. You're tying up a roster spot, man. Yeah. You already drafted a lot of young guys last year, and you're trying to develop people, and because of the way your salary cap is, every spot that you have, if you're 53, is golden.
Yeah.
And to try and say, well, we're going to keep this guy and hope that the league doesn't do this and hope the judicial doesn't. That's a whole lot of hoping.
That's a lot of hoping.
Then hope he turns himself into the player and takes advantage. There's a whole lot of hoping here, man. And I don't know if they can do that.
Because Zeke got, 6 games back in his incident? I'm like, do you really tie up a roster spot for? I mean, he may get suspended even longer.
That's why I say
you
can be on the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah.
So you don't know where this is going, and now you also have to think about, okay, is this a draft need now?
Because who you sitting with? You got your 3, Brown, Diggs, and Jordan Lewis. got right in there. He's had some playing time here and there, but Marcus Kennedy, he got some.
But you were counting on him to be, counting on him to be one of your premier guys.
Yeah, he was supposed
one
to
of your
be.
top 4. You need 5. You're going to need at least 5 during the season.
And that's what's so perplexing to me,
17
man.
game schedule.
This is your golden opportunity. This is it. Like
it's been a tough offseason.
Man, it has.
It's been a tough offseason.
A lot of ups and downs. More downs than ups.
Yes.
But,
Yeah. So we'll just take it this way. We'll just end it like this. They've got a decision to make.
Yeah. A huge one.
As an organization on Kelvin Joseph, and I know some people want to go to this whole get innocent till proven guilty. No, not when you're running a business. When you're running a business, you don't have to wait. That's the judicial system. You don't have to wait on the judicial system here. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You get to make a decision that you want. Yeah. And you've got to ask yourself, right, is he worth it?
And is innocence really not saying nothing for a whole month? Is that?
They know more about this young man, and they've had their own interactions with him than you and I have.
That's true.
So they've got enough on here that they can make a decision. I would say the Cowboys, being the Cowboys, probably won't do anything. Yeah. I don't see anything getting done. When he says cut it by any, I don't see that happening. Not the way we've seen business run around here. But I don't know if he's on the final 53 as we start to see more and more details get out there because, hey, look, this can still get bad.
It can get ugly.
This still can get bad.
Because is there is that like, I mean, I don't know the legal term for it or the law term for it, but if you witness a crime and you don't say, especially a crime to this magnitude, and you don't say something for that stretch of period, that month, that long stretch of time, are you considered an accomplice to that? Good question. I'm not a lawyer. I won't pretend to play on the podcast, but you got issues. Yeah.
Bottom line is you got some issues.
You got some issues, man.
You got some issues here, man. And like I said, your livelihood is on the line here. So he's not out of the woods by any means. Man.
Better start singing.
You just the positive part of this is you weren't arrested.
Yeah.
That's the positive part.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
They're not charging you with the murder right now.
Because I wonder what those other 2 guys are about to go ahead in there and say.
Right. So he's put himself in a really bad place. And so if you're the Cowboys, you do have to make that decision on whether or not do you want to roll the dice on. Yeah. I just believe they've got too many roster spots that they have to take care of. And now you've put the organization in a decision, in a draft mode of, okay, look, guys, now how much do we need to prioritize the cornerback position
now? Yeah. I mean,
because of what's happened here. Because of the unknown.
Yeah,
and this is where you talk about being an unreliable player in person. Because now you put your situation, the Cowboys situation, into. I mean, the Cowboys had to come out and put out a statement.
A whole statement.
League came out and they made a statement. You're not good enough for people to be making statements like this.
You're on the radar for the wrong reason.
The wrong reason.
The wrong reason.
Absolute wrong reason. All right, let's take a break here. Draft coming up here, man.
It is.
Draft is coming up
it's
here.
It's inching closer and closer.
Let's get a couple draft thoughts in here. He's Barry Church. I'm Dewey Scruggs. Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Hey, get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Dallas Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, starting at just $20. Join now and get your fan pack, exclusive benefits, and more. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United for details to join today. All right, Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com. He is former Dallas Cowboys safety
sir.
Barry Church, our other running buddy. Former Cowboys safety Danny McCray is out. I'm Newy Scruggs. Didn't play. I just talk about it.
Emmy Award winner, though, man.
I just talk about it.
You got the Emmys, though.
10 days away from the draft. 10 days.
That's it.
10 days. So,
Man, time flies. I feel like we was just talking about San Francisco. Man.
Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, a lot of mock drafts out there. A lot of mock drafts. Right in the Star magazine. Our own David Hellman did a Cowboys. He did the Cowboys mock draft. He's got him taking the center from Iowa.
That guy right there.
Mel Kiper Jr. of ESPN has the Cowboys taking Micah Parsons' former teammate from Penn State, defensive end Arnold, and I'm going to butcher his name, Ibikiti.
Okay, Ibikiti.
And
young Arnold.
Look, here's the thing. You are never going to go wrong adding pass rushers.
No, you can never have enough passers, especially in this league nowadays.
Right. This is a passing league.
Yeah, without a doubt. You can never have enough pass rushers.
So if you can get you get a guy off his spot, you're going to be a good football player.
You'll have a
good football team. You start thinking about, one, how do you win your division? I always think about it that way. How do you win the division? Yeah, how do you? So you've got Carson Wentz with Washington.
Daniel Jones.
You got Daniel Jones with the Giants. You got Jalen Hurts here with the
Eagles.
Yeah. So what do we know about all three quarterbacks? All three quarterbacks
will turn the ball over.
True. Okay. Yes, you're correct. But all three quarterbacks do like to use their legs.
Man, they're athletic.
So they're mobile guys. Yeah. Right? They're mobile guys. So when you think about that aspect of it, you just say, okay, you not only need to get to the passer, but you also got to be worried about protecting the pocket, that this guy can get out of the pocket. So having guys who can get to the quarterback works very well. You also know that you're playing a first-place schedule this year. So the Cowboys' schedule is going to be a lot tougher. So you're going to see Tom Brady again this year. You're going to have to be ready for the best quarterbacks again. So,
Rams coming through.
So if you're going to have to deal with that, having another pass rusher out there is smart. Let's be 100% honest about Tank Lawrence. He's not going to play 17 because he hasn't played 17 in a minute.
And it's been a couple years.
I should say 16. He hasn't played 16 in a minute, much less to now it's 17 games.
It's been a minute since he's suited up.
Right. So if you just do not pencil him down, right, hey, we're going to have 17 games from Tank Lawrence until you see it done. And the same thing with Tyron Smith.
Same thing with T. Smith, yeah. Okay.
Until you see it done, don't do that to yourself.
You can't do it.
You can't do it. So you're going to need some help. I look to this draft, and I simply say this. The first-round pick, it either needs to be someone on the offensive line or someone in the front seven.
Trenches. You got to.
So if you have, and I say the front seven because if you find another linebacker out there with the ability of a Micah Parsons, then go ahead and do that.
Yeah, you can get him on the edge,
that's a pressure player.
Yes.
That's a pressure player.
Yes, indeed.
So that's where it needs to be. And then if you get someone in the interior, look, the Cowboys do not have a blue chip interior defensive lineman.
No, I don't think they've had one in a long time. Okay, maybe Crawford in his early years, but
I'm not asking for Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald is superhuman and is doing things at a Hall of Fame level that's up there with some of the greatest who've ever done.
He's the outlier.
But you do need somebody in that middle who can affect the football.
At least clog it up. Keep blockers off of your linebackers. Let them use their speed.
So that's why I'm just – and I know people fall in love with these receivers. They want to talk about, man, the receivers, this is a deep receiver draft.
You can find speed.
Right. But to me, if you're going to try and win the division again, you need to solidify your offensive line, which has holes. Mm-hmm. Your defensive line can get better.
You can.
And you need to keep applying pressure.
You do, and I'm with you in that regard. I'm with you 100%. I mean, to me, with this draft, they've got to focus on the trenches in this one. I mean, we've seen whether it's defensive line, interior wise, or on the edge, or whether it's offensive line, we definitely need to basically cement that interior part of the offensive line as well. Because we talked about it plenty of times when that San Francisco game came, that playoff game came. Both sides of the football got bullied. Whether it was, San Fran running up the gut against our defense,
the first two possessions,
we're going to punch them in the mouth, and we're going to take the ball down the field and score. And that was, like you said, that was embarrassing. And when you go against, that ain't really going to matter in our division, because our division is not that great. So you might be able to, mop up our division easily. But when you go against the San Franciscos, the Rams, of the world, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to need somebody to either affect the quarterback, affect Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, and those guys, or you're going to need a line that can deal with Aaron Donald and what they have over in San Francisco, because they're loaded over there. So you need something in that regard. I'm not big on the skill positions in this, or for us this year in this draft. You can find them later on, maybe 3, 4, 5. You can find those guys in those type of rounds. But to me, these first 2 picks, they've got to be in the trenches.
So I'm going to ask the simple question that they faced just 2 years ago. We have a thought process about what they need. 2 years ago, you and I said Diggs is the guy.
Yeah, in the corner.
You need Diggs. Mm-hmm. Was it 17 or 18 where we said, you need to get Diggs. And then CeeDee Lamb fell, and they took CeeDee Lamb. Mm-hmm. Worked out great. They got Diggs in the next round.
Diggs in a second, yeah.
So if you are hit with another type of situation where there's a skilled player there,
that's like you just got you got to have this guy.
If you've got a very highly ranked, they said he was the highest ranked guy they had on the board at that point. Yeah. Do you pull the trigger and say, okay, yeah, we'll take this receiver,
this top rated receiver, whoever it is.
We'll take this cornerback, or we'll take this tight end. Do they do that?
That's a tough one. If it's receiver, he got to be one of how that CeeDee Lamb situation went out. Like, this guy must have had to been one of their top guys, no matter what the position. He was one of the top guys at the board, and he fell all the way down to us. So we had to dive on him. I could see a situation like that, but I mean, if I was in charge, if I was up there, making these calls, if I was a Will McClay to Jerry Jones, I'm addressing the trenches, even if somebody like let's just say Olave or one of these receivers that may be high on their boards dropped all the way down to 24. I still would go in the trenches, because we've seen you can have all the explosive skill position players that you want. We had a Cooper, a Gallup, a Lamb. We had Ced Wilson. We had all these pieces. And what it came down to in our playoff loss was still the trenches. So in my mind, it's ingrained that you've got to make sure you settle the front before you work on the outsides. Yeah. And that's just how I go about it.
And this is a great conversation to have, because there's truly, you could truly make points for both sides. Yeah. I go back to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons passed on CeeDee Lamb because they had Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, and they needed a corner, and they took A.J. Terrell, who, by the way, is a good football player.
He turned out to be good.
He's a good football. That was not a bad pick. The Atlanta Falcons today do not have Julio Jones. They do not have Calvin Ridley. That's how fast this league changes.
Yeah. Pass defense, one of the worst in the league.
Right. So, yeah. Three years later, now you said, Terrell's a good player.
Yeah.
You need a receiver.
That's true.
And so on their board, I'm imagining Lamb was probably rated higher. I'm imagining. I'd have to ask Dan Quinn, who was the head coach at the time. But that, and here's the Cowboys, who are in the same position as the Atlanta Falcons. We need a corner, but here's a great player. They took the player, and today they've got CeeDee Lamb as their number one receiver, and the Falcons are looking. Yeah. And, oh, by the way, in the second round, they ended up getting the corner they needed. They got Diggs.
They wanted.
So this is that – it's that whole dynamic of, man, where do you go? How do you do it?
Do you think they're in the situation to where they can pick just the best available?
Man, this is one where I have such respect for what Will McClay has been able to do.
Very true.
That I would lean on him. Mm-hmm. But this is the situation, man, that we bring it up for the Cowboys, but this is across the league. Everyone's sitting around there like this. Yeah. So the Falcons were in the same position. They were like, hey, man, well, we've got Jones, we've got Ridley. Do we really need to add a number 3 here? Mm-mm. Or do we need to go get this corner? Get this corner to fix this bad pass D, and we've got to face the Saints. And they had the monsters in the league, man. They had to go deal with, man. So you had guys you had to deal with this league. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin down there at Tampa Bay. So they're like, yeah, we need to cover corner. It's such a. This is why we love football. This is why the draft is such an interesting and can be a complicated thing of, hey, man, do I take the best player available or do I draft for this need? In an ideal world, you'd love to take the best player available who fits the need, but a lot of times it doesn't work that way. Like that, and with the way the salary cap in this NFL works, man, the roster you have now, 3 years down the road,
ain't gonna be there.
Man, you may not even have the same coach.
You ain't lying.
And that's how fast this league is moving.
It goes quick.
You couldn't have told me that when they took A.J. Terrell in 2 years, 2 years after you drafted him, that Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley would not be on your football team.
Matt Ryan gone
too.
And
Matt Ryan gone too. Right.
It's wild.
That's how it is, man. And so you're the Cowboys. That's that thing, man. Where, all right, you're not going to go wrong if you take a center. If that center from Iowa, especially, that's the best one on the board. If
he pans out.
If you take a pass rush, if you take that linebacker from Georgia, if you took the guard from A&M, if you took the interior lineman from Georgia, I look at the Cowboys. You have some holes that you really kind of can't go wrong.
Or there's always this wild theory right here. You can throw this out here. They could address some needs in free agency, man. They could have jumped on some. They could have jumped on some things in free agency, but that's not their approach to how they've been doing it these past couple of years. And respect to them. They got their business model and how they want to address needs in the team, and it's been building through the draft and signing their own players. But to me, that whole business plan is just. It's been great for the Cowboys, but as for winning, I'm not so sure.
I'll defend them this way, man. Most of the money spent in the first week free agency is bad money.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, because people are overpaying for guys that have gone out there and had a great 1 year. I was one of those guys that benefited from it, but it's just
people want to run out here and say you should have done something. Okay, you know who did something? The Dolphins,
Jacksonville.
But just what the Dolphins. Yeah. If you're picking the AFC East winner right now,
they third.
Are you picking Buffalo or Miami?
The Buffalo. I'm putting them behind New England too.
That's what I say. So who you pick second? New England or Miami? Yeah. Okay. So you spend all this money, and right now, we believe it's a third place team.
Yeah. I mean, it could pan out though. It could pan out to where this was a hit.
All right. Did it pan out when they gave Ndamukong Suh that $100 million?
No, that one didn't. That one didn't pan out.
Did it pan out when they gave Byron Jones the highest contract ever for a corner?
No.
Did it pan out when they drafted Tua over Justin Herbert?
But see, Herbert ain't been in no playoffs either.
That wasn't his fault. That was his head coach. Your head coach screwed that up. You were about to go. Your head coach decided to go mess that up.
Oh man,
So I just look at the Dolphins. They make a lot of moves. They do a lot of stuff all the time. But what do we see? They're still in the same old spot. Now you're on a whole new coach again. Then you hear how they will try to bring in Tom Brady and possibly Sean Payton. I mean, they're doing things. But they're not making the playoffs. They're not winning their division. So while you can beat the Cowboys up for what they've done, you can simply say this. What they've done, they've drafted players who've made Pro Bowls. They have been able to make playoffs. I don't care if the division's weak. Nobody ever says that the division's weak when the Patriots win it. They only say the division's weak when the Cowboys win it. Yeah. So all you can do is win what you can win. Yeah. They're doing their part. Miami's out here running around. Hey, we're gonna give all these picks up for Tyreek Hill. Okay, good.
Is that the goal for the Cowboys though? Like, this is America's team. Is that the goal, to just win divisions and get in there for one playoff game?
Dude, they ain't won Super Bowl 25 years.
That's what I'm saying. Their model is great for making money and getting the fans in there. It's great.
Right.
But getting that next step?
You ain't seen the next step in 25 years. Should we really be talking about the next step? You just got.
It's got to start somewhere.
Right. We need a division and make the playoffs. Okay, let's stop talking about next steps and trying to get to Arizona.
It's got to go somewhere.
How about just win this division with this first place schedule and see if you can save Mike McCarthy's job. Let's just go simple steps right here.
That's what. If I'm Mike, you got to go further than the first round. If I'm Mike, we got to do this. I got to save my job.
Hey man, I think if they can win 10 games this year,
they're gonna do that.
If they do that, Mike McCarthy will be a head coach for the Cowboys or someone else next year in this league. I do think that Mike McCarthy, if he does that, will have proven himself that, hey, he can help a football team somewhere else if they don't want him here. Yeah. He's showing you he can coach football. That you can have whatever issues you have with Mike about decision making with that, but in this league where they're recycling a whole lot of folks. They've recycled people. I've seen people get third head coaching jobs with far less resumes.
You ain't lying.
So I'm almost about to say name some names. Like, I'm not gonna beat up on anybody today, but.
Speaking of beating up on people, shout out to Jason Garrett. You seen the man is on was on a broadcast team. Was it is it USSFL or is it the XFL?
USFL. He's
at USFL. He's an analyst or is he NBC, he's NBC color commentary?
We're out of time.
Shout out to Jason Garrett, man.
You said you needed to go, so
yeah, I gotta get about it. I gotta get about it.
We gotta go. We gotta
throw that in there.
Players Labs brought to you by Hotels.com. Barry Church, Louis Scruggs.
ABC, that's your spot, right?
Goodbye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!